Hey everybody, here we are at the Beehive for really the first time. I just got my gear and was down at the Bee Association and had my first experience opening a hive and looking around at a few things. And let me tell you what, it was definitely a confidence builder to be there with an experienced beekeeper and be able to, number one, learn the information, but I think actually perhaps more importantly, to gain some trust in this equipment. It was nerve-wracking for me. From what I understand, there's some people that bees don't bother them at all, but it was a little nerve-wracking for me first walking up on the hive, even having all of this protective equipment on. But having been out there and dealing with them for a half an hour and opening several different hives and walking away with nary a scratch, I have a lot more confidence, which allows me to be a little more cool, calm, and collected around my ladies. So here's what we're going to do. I've had these for a week. It's time to check the hive, just make sure things are going as smooth as possible. I'm not going to really try to teach you any how-tos here because I'm a rookie. I'll talk a little bit while I'm doing some work, and I might, depending on what I see when I get in here, readjust the camera and bring you in on and show you a little closer shot of what's happening on the inside. I'm looking to see if they have started to put comb on the outside frames, and if they're getting close, then we'll add another deep on top of this one. More importantly, when I got my bees, we forgot to put the inner cover on top of the deep. So the only thing attaching here is the outer cover, and if left like that, the bees could attach comb to it and make it very hard for me to open the outer cover. So let's get started. From everything I've been reading and told, I'm kind of approaching the hive from the back or the side. We're going to try to give a little bit of smoke just to calm everybody down. Now, one misconception here is that this is a cool smoke. We're not trying to hurt the bees. We're not trying to asphyxiate them in any way. That's one of the last things we want. What we're doing is covering the scent of their own alarm system, so that when those bees, the guard bees up front, start trying to tell everybody that the intruder is here, that scent gets masked, essentially. All right, so I just lifted a back corner here and put a few puffs of smoke into the actual chamber, and we give it a few seconds and let that smoke settle into the bottom of the hive and disperse throughout it. And here in a second, we'll take the lid off, and from what little peek I got, these guys have been busy. Now remember, I told you before, I purchased a nucleus. So this should have had 5 full frames when I first got it. And I didn't see it personally, but I trust the people. So there were only 5 more frames left that were empty for them to fill out. I didn't buy a package of bees. There was already a good foundation here. So now with that out of the place, we're going to carefully pick this up. It's not glued down or anything, so I'm okay just picking it straight up. And we're going to set it down on its top, on the metal side. All right, look at these girls. And I can see bees walking on every single hive, or on every single frame, excuse me. And I cannot tell exactly which ones have been worked on. So I'm going to take my hive tool. Hey, yo, ladies. And you know what? Everybody's happy right now. We keep them that way. And I'm going to start from over here. Well, it's still unnerving to hear that buzzing in your ear, no matter what. I want to check over here and see. All right, calm down, ladies, calm down. Leave it to my smoker wants to go out. There we go. All right. All right, so we're just going to lift up on this frame right here. Now I'll tell you one thing, I bought the wrong size gloves. So that makes things a little bit more difficult. And No comb. All right. Now with the wall frame out, I'm just gonna slowly move some more of these frames over. And that is my second empty frame and my third empty frame. So the one thing I can definitely say is I'm not gonna have to put this extra super on top yet. However, now we're getting into some serious work here. Let's take a look at this. Now we're really talking. Let's take a look and see what these girls are making in here. Well, I sweat like a pig inside this thing. I don't know about anybody else, but man. All right, we are starting to put a little comb on this foundation on that side, and we got a lot on that side. Let's see here. Woo. All right, looks like we are putting, that almost just looks like water. I could be wrong. I was told one of the first things I need to look for, I say I was told, I read that one of the first things I really need to look for here are eggs. And so despite my extremely nervous apprehension right now, I'm going to keep going because I would very much like to see if I can tell what the eggs are. All right, we got the wall frame, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, here we are on frame number 5. Now we're starting to get frames that are actually a little glued together. Well, you know, I tell you what, if there's somebody out there who was not nervous the first time they did this, I'd have a very difficult time believing them. Because it sounds, I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds like there's 20,000 bees in here, fluttering wings. No, I'll tell you what it sounds like. It sounds like there's 20,000 stingers in here, fluttering wings. All right, so somebody's going to tell me I'm using too much smoke. I just about don't care. All right. Let's take a look here. I think I'm starting to see some of the tan coverings that I'm supposed to be looking for brood. Oh my, that's heavy. All right. Oh, that is honey. That's honey, honey. All right. Now, one of the things I read in my book is, and they're starting to cap it off too, is you don't want to do any quick centrifugal force motions. That alarms them. And almost that about half of that side of frame number 5 is capped honey. So that's nice. Still not seeing brood as far as I know, so let's keep going. Now I say as far as I know because when I was at the bee club, getting a little hands-on training just before coming out here and doing this, we didn't find any brood there either. So I'm more or less looking for something that doesn't look like anything I saw where I just was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are on track. We're on number 6. One thing I have been told and learned is that you start at a wall frame and work your way across. You create the gap and then move everything over to you, and then later we'll move them all back in one fluid motion if I do it right. Oh my God, that is going to be heavy. Let's go. All right. So there is definitely some brood cells here. They've got these darker coverings, and there's a couple of these, I think you call them supersedure cells, so I'm going to have to ask about those and what to do. So let's see here if I can see anything. Okay, I can see a larva there, so that's neat to be able to see that for the first time. Almost looks like they're constructing another supersedure cell over there. Oh, there's some more larvae. Certainly can't say I've seen an egg, but I can certainly say I've seen some young larvae. And I can certainly say I can tell a difference here between these workers, and I can see a couple of the bigger drones here. But I can't yet say I can see good enough or understand good enough to say I've seen the queen. So still keeping an eye out for Her Majesty here. Let's keep going. All right, moving on to frame number 7. I'm clearly into what was the nuke that was sent to me. There's no doubt about that. That last frame and this frame, definitely. Oh, even heavier. Definitely seen larva in that. Oh, definitely larva there. So, it's a little bit of a cloudy day, and I'm doing this today because if I didn't do it today, I'd have to wait another probably 4 days before I'd be able to open this for sure. So I got back to my camera and realized that I was in this hive way too long because the camera actually shut off on me. So the only thing that you missed is I finished off going through the frames. Still couldn't find the queen, but I'm okay. I feel okay because I've seen some developing brood. And while I couldn't see an egg, that's more likely because of me not being familiar with just how microscopic I need to look, poor lighting and everything else. So I'm not worried that I didn't see the queen. I may well have and didn't even know I was looking at her. So for now I'm comfortable because I saw brood, I saw capped brood, I saw honey, I saw capped honey, I saw frames that were getting comb built on them, but not enough frames yet for me to feel like I should be putting on this second deep. We'll reevaluate that again in a week or two. We added in the top feeder, which is also acting as a inner cover, and then added in the top cover. So everything's already been buttoned back up, and again, this is my first time doing this. I'm sure somebody watching is saying, either laughing about how nervous I've been or how slow I was moving, or maybe even watching it thinking that I'm crazy. And here's what I can tell you. First off, buy the right equipment. These gloves being too big, the book I'm reading suggests going in the first few times without gloves at all because you can be more dexterous, but I wasn't comfortable with that, and the gloves that I ended up getting are way too big. So make sure you're buying the equipment that fits you comfortably. I have just been in blue jeans and work boots and haven't had any problems. I've been out here working for a lot longer than I should have, probably about 30 minutes. And haven't had any problems. Been nervous, had them buzzing in my ears and all around my head, but haven't had any problems. And for me, that's going to be step number 1, trusting my equipment. I think that if you get into beekeeping, maybe you're not the same way, but for me, that's step number 1. I don't think I can personally kill 10,000 bees at the drop of a hat, but what I can do is bee by bee, trust my equipment. I don't need to be nervous in my handling of the hive nearly as much as I'm nervous with one bee even flying around my head. So now that I feel more comfortable with my equipment, it'll get more and more comfortable the more I come back to the hive. And so long as I don't let that fall into complacency, that's going to be a real big benefit to me. So everything's okay for now. I probably am going to have rain in the area or exactly on top of us over the next 4 days. So it probably would be a week, even though I know I need to leave it alone that long anyway. It'd probably be a week before I even get a chance to go back in here. So I'm happy to know that they're healthy and putting on comb on these other frames. I'm happy to see what I was able to see and look forward to coming back and seeing even more the next time. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.